All right, so what is Homeroom? Homeroom is you'll hear the acronym LMS, which is our Learning Management System. There are different programs out there that do this, Schoology, Ed Backpack, Canvas. We use Homeroom. This is pretty much a delivery system for giving students instructions, materials, and also a delivery tool for the students to deliver things back to us. So let's go ahead and dive in. On the left side of the screen, this is going to be the teacher's side. On the right side of the screen, you'll see the student's side, which is already logged in. In order to get to the login screen, you will go to homeroom.atlaslearning.net. homeroom.atlaslearning.net. You'll get up to this screen. Your username will be the same thing that you get for everything else within the school district. And then your password will be the same thing. And then the school code for Belton is Belton. Just keep it all lowercase. It'll be good to go. And then go ahead and sign in. Students' process is the exact same thing. It'll be their first dot last, their default password for all of their programs, and Belton is the same for them. All right, so you'll see the first thing that we got here is a weekly calendar. I can go up here and I can touch on month. I can get a whole month. And then over here on the left side are things that are ready to grade, and then school news. If I come over here to the student side, we can touch their dashboard, and you'll see all the things that they have due. There's an assignment section down here, and there's also school news for them. Okay, so their assignments are things that they need to turn in or things that need to be done. So you can see on the student side that there's also tons of stuff. If you see a check mark, that means they've turned something in. If it's late, you get that little late icon, which depending on when you assigned it, it may be showing a late when it's really not. And you can see that there's different ways of labeling things. There's quizzes, homework. So we'll go through about how to make that all happen. So the students will see everything that the teachers assigned to them. The teachers will only see the things that the teachers assigned themselves. Okay, so the teachers will only see what is assigned, what they assign to the students. So they'll only see the one class. So if you have six classes, then you give them all the same assignments. You'll see 6 icons right here, all different colors. Let's jump into the settings real fast because that's going to be something important that helps everybody out. So we're going to go ahead and go down here. So touch the H to get into the menu, and then we're going to go down to the settings. I'm going to touch H on the teacher side and into account settings. So if we go ahead and scroll down on the teacher side, you can see that if you need to link accounts, we do want the kids to link their Google Drive. So you can see this is already linked because my only option is to unlink it. If you want to link it, you just touch the link icon if you want to link a Dropbox or a OneDrive, and then you go ahead and put your stuff in just for that. Your username and password, all that good stuff. Down here you have your course settings. So over on the right side, you can reorder. So if you go ahead and take those, you can move those around. And this is how it will appear in this menu right here. Same thing for the student. You can also hide the course. So if you don't need a course or you're not using a course, then you can hide it within your menu. So you can see I've got a few that are hidden here, and the student has at least one hidden as well. You can also change the name of it. You cannot change the period. That stays standard. But if you want to change the period, all you have to do is just click in there and, or not change the period, but change the title of the class. Just click in there, change the title of the class. Same thing for the student. They'll just touch in there, and they can go ahead and change the title of it, how it appears on the left side. But the periods will stay the same. You can't change those. It's important to note that hiding courses later on, or hiding courses, will also hide all of your classes in Apollo. So that's for another training session, but if you're ever using Apollo and the classes don't show up, tell them to unhide their course in Homeroom. They can also change their colors. So let's say on this teacher side, I want to go ahead and change the color of the training one, and I can change it to purple if I'd like to. I usually have my kids go ahead and change all theirs so they have as many different colors as possible. You can see that there are 8. There are 8 colors. They're only probably going to have 7 periods, so usually they can get a different color for each one, and it does make it a little bit easier to read on the dashboard. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go down. Notification settings. The students cannot receive emails this way, so they can leave that alone. That's not really important. And sometimes ours works and sometimes ours doesn't. Just be aware that if you do a new submission every time they get a submission, that you will get an email. So I usually just leave that one on because the only one that I'm worried about. But actually, we have the private messages blocked, so that's not even a point right now as well. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the dashboard. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and see. You can see when you pull open the student side, you can go into dashboard, messages, portfolio, and then all of the classes. I'm just going to go ahead and straight into a class, which is going to be our training class. So basics first, we're going to go to, not multimedia, we're going to go to our training class, and I'm going to show you just a few things that'll get you rolling. So you have an agenda. That's where we're at right now. It just kind of shows you the week. Course content. Everything you've uploaded, announcements. You can try that, but you have to teach your kids to look at their announcements section or they won't see it because it doesn't show up unless they go to the announcements. And then the gradebook, which we'll go over in a second, and your course roster, which is everybody that's in the class. So we're going to go to create, and you can create an assignment, a course note, or a quiz and a poll. So I'm going to go ahead and do an assignment, and we're going to do everything in one assignment so you can see all the possibilities you can have. So we'll just call this a demo assignment. Labels and standards, if you know which TEKS you're using, you can go ahead and put those in. It'll recognize it. And you can also do labels. So if you know that you're going over the same unit all the time, so if your unit is digital citizenship, then just click off there. Or do we do a comma? There we go. Put a comma in, and then it automatically creates a folder. In Homeroom, and everything that you put digital citizenship on, it keeps all that in one location for you. So that can be pretty handy. So the text section is where you're going to put all of your instructions. Okay, and then you have some options down here. If you want to attach something, you can give them a cheat sheet, you can give them a reference sheet or a picture for something. You can pull it anytime you see this cloud, that means it's coming off of your computer. This is your Google Drive, Dropbox, and I think OneDrive is what that's called. So if you want to choose a file, you want to deliver something to them. So maybe let's see, we've got this, got a map here. So I want to go ahead and give them this map, and it'll get that loading. And if it keeps doing that little circle blip thing and it never goes off, then it's not going to load. You have to wait until you actually get the picture icon or the loaded icon in there for that. If you want, you can also record. So you touch that, and anything you say is recorded, so you can give verbal instructions so the kids can go back and listen to it if they didn't hear you the first time, and you can just go ahead and record that. When you're done, go ahead and click it again. We'll go ahead and record that. I'm not going to play it because I'll get some crazy feedback here. So but that's a great way to do it, and if you don't like it, just delete it and do it again. Down here, this is where the magic happens. These are your deliverables. These are the things that you say that you want the kids to turn in, or that you're going to grade them on. So if you just want to give them something, that's when you use the class notes, which we'll go over a little bit later. So if you just want them to have something, make it a class note and attach it. But let's say we want them to do a worksheet. So we're going to click on File Turn In. Oh, sorry, backup. I can't say. Say we want to do a worksheet, so we touch on Worksheet. I can't talk. So you're going to say Choose File, and depending on where it is, go ahead and find that location. And it's best if you have a PNG or a PDF. Word docs sometimes convert, but the best thing is just to have them in PDF. So I've got this multiplication worksheet, and I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And it'll go ahead and default whatever the file name was, but you can change it. We'll call it multiplication worksheet and decide how many points you want to grade it on. So it's 100 points maybe. So we can also do a file turn in. So let's say you had the kids do a keynote or an iMovie, or they made some video in some cool tune making app like Toontastic. So we can have the kids turn it in straight from the app. So we'll say keynote presentation. And I like the kids to turn them in the PDF sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and specify that I want it as a PDF. And that one's also going to be 100 points. You can also do a text response. This is great for a bell ringer activity or also for an exit ticket. So you could just type a question in. You can just type a question or a prompt in. So in 3 sentences, what the lunar cycle is. And then you can give that points, or you can just give it 0 if you're not going to do it for a grade, but you at least want that input. And then the other task is the super confusing part. But all the other task is something that you want them to do in class, but it's nothing that they're going to turn in. So example, history classes go over cardinal directions, and they want the kids to present the cardinal directions spatially in the classroom. They want them to stand up and face north and face west and east and south and all that good stuff. So all you have to do is say other task and say cardinal directions. And you can even, to hold down on confusion, you can even say in class. So those are the 4 deliverables. You can also see those in the worksheet. What I did not go over is there's a draw edit button. So if there's something on the worksheet that I don't like, I can click on that. And then I can say, oh, all right, I went over this. I don't want them to do all of them. So let's go ahead and change the color. We can even we can change the thickness a little bit. Well, not on this page. Oh, yeah, we can. Yep, right there. And so we don't want them to do that one. Don't do that one. Don't do that one. Don't do that one. And this one is bonus points. I don't know why it would be, but anyways, and then you hit save, and that now changes the copy for every student. But you can only do it at this point. You can't do it later. You have to do it now, or you'll have to delete the assignment and start all over. You'll also notice on the worksheet, you can make a blank one. I love making blank worksheets. So you just say blank. And so down here you have, we'll just say there's going to be 3 questions. And it's whatever you want to do. And just say draw or edit. And then you have a blank worksheet. Grab the text. And then you can say question number 1, question number 2, and question number 3, or whatever. You can just have a prompt up here and make them type in for a long time. You can even add another blank page underneath here if there's not enough room. So that's a great option just for a quick worksheet that you can make on the fly. So we have all those done, and now we want to assign it. Make sure the kids get it. So we're going to say assign to, and when you click up here, you get the option for all of your classes. These are the only 2 I have, but you'll have a bunch, and you can assign them to every class at one time instead of making an assignment for each class. So I'm just going to do my training class. I could also do my multimedia class, but I don't want them to get it. But you could do all of them at one time. Just take note, once you do it at one time, it makes a copy for every class. So at that point, you won't be able to edit them all together. You'll have to go into period 1 and edit that one, and period 2 and edit that one. So if you make a big mistake, it's best if you just go and delete them all and then pull it out of your library and just do it all over again. So this part's pretty cool. So you can say what days you want these due on. So let's say I'm just going to go ahead and backdate these. So I'm going to say that one's due on Monday, that one's due on Tuesday, this one's due today, that one's due on Thursday, and this one's due on Friday. So we just made this one assignment. We're going to show you some magic here. So after we change the date of all of them, we're going to go ahead and say assign. And so they're in there now, and you'll notice the student side already changed. So all the assignments are in one spot, but if we go to the student's dashboard, and then we go ahead and filter the courses to the training course only, you'll see that it looks like there's an assignment on every day of the week, but it's all called the same thing. But so it says demo assignment, but one is multiplications, one is a keynote, one is the warm-up, one's the cardinal directions. So that's a really cool and easy way to get something in every day of the week in one assignment. So we're going to go ahead and jump back into the training class and show you how these deliverables work. So the first thing we're going to do is, what's on Monday? We need to go into that one because that one's late. So we'll do the multiplication worksheet. I'm going to go ahead and come over here and show you that on the student side. And we're going to go down to the students, and we're going to start our multiplication worksheet. So you can see that it automatically popped up, and it has the student's name at the top, and you can even annotate on it. So if I'm looking at this student and I want to go ahead and grab a highlighter, And you can see it's live on the student's side. Maybe I want to make sure she does that one. And then as the student is finishing these, you'll see it shows up on the other side, etc., etc. And they have the option to change to a highlighter or text, and they have an eraser and color and thickness options as well. There's also a back button and a forward button. So when this student's done, they don't need to put a name on there because it's in Homeroom and their name's already on it. But if they want to, that's great. And so then they hit submit when they are done. All right, and then if I go over here and click, you can see that this student has turned it in because it is yellow. So we know that that student has turned it in. And you can also see that I now have an opportunity to grade it. Excuse me. I can grade it. So I'll go ahead and give her a grade. And then you can see it's automatically on the other side. So the student already sees it. I can even go ahead and say, oh, well, maybe it wasn't 100. Maybe it was only an 80. And she just needs to fix a couple things. So I'll go ahead and write down here, fix number 1 and 7. And then I can say require resubmission. So that gives the student another opportunity to fix those problems and then submit. Okay? So then I can look at second version and then I can grade that one. So I can go ahead and change the grade if I need to. Oh, except that is a gigantic grade. Let's not do that one. That'll throw things off. All right, and then it'll say 100. So it's pretty instant, and you can interact with the students while they're working on it. So let's go ahead and jump back. All right, and you can also see down here that one person has graded in and 7 have not. So let's go ahead and go to the next one, which is Keynote Presentation. So we'll go to Keynote Presentation. Go ahead and go down to this student. And you'll see that they don't have anything to choose from. So what we're going to do first is we're going to jump into Keynote, which I already have open. And let's say that they've finished this Georgia O'Keeffe presentation and they're ready to turn it in. So you touch the share square in the top right and you're going to say send a copy, pick the presentation. And I like PDFs for the most part. You can do them. If you want the animations, you got to turn it as a Keynote. Choose how to send. And then if you scroll down to the end, it says import with Homeroom. So we're going to say import with Homeroom. It's going to open the Homeroom app. And then they go to choose file. And then it says files on my device. So we'll want to look for today. There it is. I didn't even look. I looked at the wrong date. And then it'll say loading. We'll give it just a little bit of time. It is a big presentation. So the student can see that it is uploaded. They might have a question like, oh, this one didn't load, and you can just say, you can check your side. And so on the teacher's side, the teacher can see this. If the teacher wants to annotate on it, they touch the annotation button. It'll have to convert it into a different document, but it's seamless. Once it does it, you're fine. And then the teacher can highlight things and grade things and say things are incorrect. And then go ahead and put the grade in, just like normal. And you can do the resubmission if the kids turn it in too early, that kind of stuff. And you can see that the student has the grade. So let's go back. Next one. The next one's going to be in 3 sentences, explain. So let's go ahead and go to that one in 3 sentences. And we'll just for time's sake, and then the student hits submit. And if I go over here, I'll see that that student has a yellow dot. It means they turned it in. And then I'll go ahead and check it off or say, that's terrible. And, you know, say, you're so funny. I'll take some points off. All right, so after that, just make sure you click off somewhere, and that grade is in there for that student. Okay, so that's a text response, just good for exit tickets, maybe a paragraph for a prompt or warm-ups. We're going to go back one more time. We got 2 more times. Cardinal direction one. So the cardinal direction, that's the other one. So if I touch on that on the student side, which I'm doing right now, whoops, I was missing it. It doesn't do anything. There's nothing for them to do. So it's just a signal to them saying, oh, I have to do that in class today. So then the teacher can come over here and click on that, it takes them automatically to the gradebook. I'll watch the student face north, east, south, west. Good. Congratulations. You're done. Give them 100 because they did great. Click off of it. And then after a little bit, that grade will be live. If I did that correctly, let's double check. Make sure it went in. Yeah, it went in. Okay. All right. So then we have one more, and that is the not 3 questions. Yes, 3 questions, not 3 sentences. Okay, so 3 questions. That's your worksheet. So I'm going to go ahead and do the blank worksheet. So I'm going to touch on the blank worksheet that we made. And so here are the questions, and the students, again, they can type or they can write, whatever they feel like is easiest for them. I like them to type because writing on an iPad just looks weird. But whatever they're comfortable with and they feel like they're going to make the best product with. Student hits submit. It says submitted. And it looks like we've got just a little bit of lag here. And I've already graded it looks like. So that is a blank worksheet, and that's how blank worksheets are going to work. Okay, and so if a student wants to resubmit, they are more than welcome to resubmit on anything that's not due yet. So if I wanted to resubmit the 3 sentences or less, I can touch on that. I can touch on the word bubble, and I can say resubmit so the students can do it again on their own. Now, if I want to do the multiplication worksheet, that was late. So I can't resubmit it. It just says add to portfolio. So that they would have to request the teacher go in. So the teacher would have to go into the assignment, go to the multiplication worksheet, find that student, and then they're going to have to say require resubmission, and the student will be able to redo that worksheet and submit it again. So that's pretty much the basics of getting in and assigning and grading works. Oh, one more thing. The gradebook. Almost forgot one. My favorite one. So you can go into the training class and go to Gradebook. And once all of your grades are in, there's this really cool button right here. It says add to Gradebook. We're not going to go through the whole process because I don't want to mess anything up. But you say add to Gradebook. You pick which category you want. It'll show major or minor. Since this isn't a real class, it's not going to show up on this one. But it'll say major or minor. You can say what date you want it to show up on, and then you say save to Gradebook, and then that assignment and the description and all of the grades automatically import into Skyward, so you don't have to manually input them. If you update a grade, then you just say add to Gradebook again, and it'll update the grades. So it's a new feature, fairly new, and it's a big time saver and helps to get grades in quickly, and you get to get more of them in because it's easier to grade. So that's pretty much the basics for Homeroom. There are a lot of other features, but this will at least get you started.